Hi, friends. The book that I'm going to be reviewing today was recommended to me by my local bookshop guy, and am I glad he recommended it to me? Of course, over the years, he's figured the kind of books that I like to read, and so his recommendations are based on that. And this is one such book. I've always been fascinated by ambitious and driven women. And this book happens to be a memoir, a story about the life of one such woman. It's called Breaking Through, and it's been written by Isher Judge Ahluwalia, who unfortunately is no longer there with us. And this is a book about her life, about how she overcomes the various challenges, difficulties, the various odds, of her life to become not only an economist of repute, but to become a person in her own right who was able to lead the life that she wanted to, achieve her ambitions, her goals. So, this is about this life of a woman, and it talks about how courage, determination, and consistency in terms of hard work. If you have these with you, there is no way that you can't reach your goals. There is no way that you can't get to your dreams. A very well written book, which I think every woman, no matter what age or stage of their lives, should read simply because of the way it inspires, it motivates. It's a book that I was able to read in 2 days, and this has nothing to do with my reading ability, but more to do with with the way the book was written. You can so easily relate to it, you can identify with it, you can understand, the various situations, the various circumstances which a young Isher as a girl, then as a woman, has to go through, because these are all very familiar situations, so many of them which we have ourselves in our life encountered. So this girl grows up, in the conservative environment of Calcutta in the 1960s, belongs to a large family, and as was common in those days, her parents wanted her to get married, early, and plus she was surrounded by girls who were not really ambitious, who just wanted to get a basic level of education and get married and raise children. Well, Isha was not one such person. She had clear goals in life, and one of those goals was to be her own person. She wanted to be independent in every sense of the word. And like she says, my desire to pursue higher education was about something as simple as retaining control over my own life. Now, she wanted control over her own life. She wanted to be independent, and so she decided to equip herself with that. Equip herself with education to be able to do that, because she realized that, and as I think most women should know, that if you want to be independent, education is the first ingredient that you need. If your parents can afford to give it to you, you should go ahead and get it, because education is something that nobody can take away from you. All the material goods, luxuries of your life, these are all, temporary, transitory, which people can take away, which can get lost in this life, in this world. But education is something which will always stay with you, and it will always help you be your own person. A lot of women feel that it's okay to be somebody's wife and to bask in his glory and to live off that person. But I tell you, the high that you get when you're able to do things for yourself, when you're able to buy things, when you're able to do stuff that you want to do because you can do it, not because somebody else is doing it for you, even if it's a father, a brother, or a husband, I tell you, that is a different high altogether, and which is what this book helps to bring out. Now, there are two aspects, that clearly come out in the book. One is Isha's journey, from being a young girl in Calcutta to becoming an economist of repute, not only in her own country, but in other parts of the world as well. Now, this is a journey fraught with challenges, fraught with trying situations. One of the biggest ones being her inability to speak English. But she nor does she, not only does she overcome that, she learns to speak that language, but she reaches a level where she's able to write books in that language. And other than that, of course, the book talks about the academic rigor that she, undergoes. Then, of course, the challenges that she faces in terms of adapting to a different education system in the United States, and also, the social changes. I mean, coming from a conservative environment, going into a completely advanced environment, how she copes up with that, how she adjusts with that, the book talks about that as well. Then, of course, she gets married to a person who, is a well-known person. He is, Montek Singh Ahluwalia, a very well-known figure, and it could have been so easy for her to live in his shadow, to bask in his glory, as I said earlier, but she chose not to do that. She always wanted to be known as a person in her own right, and she continued to do that. Though, of course, she also had to balance various roles. She was a mother of two boys, and she had to, almost single-handedly raise them. She did that, but she never lost sight of the goal of her life to be independent. And that's, I think, another lesson which is there in the book, which I think most women, and especially women who work, they can pick up this lesson from the book, that, it's very important to know when to do what. Life is not about planning for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It's about planning each day. What is important today? If my child is important today, then I focus on him. If my work is important today, I focus on that. So it's very important for women, considering the various roles that they have to play, it is very, very important for them to be able to know when to do what, to prioritize. And this is a point which this book brilliantly brings forward. Because if you're able to do it, then of course you can manage everything that you want to do in life. So for me, this book, of course, is a great, great inspiration, because it so clearly says, if you have clear goals in life, if you have the zeal to pursue them, if you have the courage of conviction, you can get there. And I think this can be an inspiration for every woman who reads this book. And as she said, as Isher said, in the book, for those into whose hands this book falls, or rather into whose hands this book finds its way, I hope my life has some lessons of interest. Isher, definitely. Your life has several lessons of interest. We just need to pick up the book and read it. So women, my dear friends, pick up this book, read and get inspired. Thank you.